Hey y'all, my name's Nick. I'm 35. I live in Brooklyn, New York, and I'm a musician. I'm a creative. And recently I made some creative breakthroughs or mental breakthroughs or something that has improved my creative life. It's improved my happiness, and I figured I would share it with you all. I have long been working on music. I love doing it, but I haven't released much of it. I haven't released much of any creative work. But I've still been working on it. It's still a part of my identity and how I think about myself. It's how I like to spend my time. It's how I'd like to continue to spend my time. And if I'm being honest with you and myself, it's something that I would not just to have be a part of my internal identity and lived experience, but I want to actualize that in the world, being that I want to collaborate with others. I want to play shows. As a musician, I want to play in other people's bands. I want to co-write songs. I want to help them produce music. I want to get them into my basement to help produce my songs. I really, really wanted to have a creative project of my own, a band or whatever you want to call it, and release records and make videos and just live more artistically and kind of blossom and join the greater creative world. But for whatever reason, and I guess for a lot of reasons, which we can get into and we'll get into, that hasn't happened for me. But I have taken a step and it has begun to happen for me. And what that step was making 10 minutes of music by myself in my room and releasing it on the internet. And oh my God, what a novel concept that is. I made a mixtape. Guy in his 30s mixtape. I mean, teenagers doing this all the time. It's like, Nick, what's so revolutionary about this? But for me, it was revolutionary, okay? I have put a lot of time into being a musician. I think, thought up what an album from me would look like. I've thought what a band from me would look like. I've thought about all my favorite bands. Like, I'm sure like you guys, like, I'm a huge consumer of music. I've been to thousands of shows. I've got hundreds of records over there. Like, I'm a connoisseur. I have good taste, or this is what I like to tell myself. And the bar starts rising up, 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 up. When you spend more time, the amount of it you have invested in it personally starts going up, 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 up. I think the weight becomes heavier. You start to have expectations for how good it will be. And before long, the idea of even working on it feels scary. It did for me, at least. I'll just start talking about what my experience was and not put it on you guys. It was scary to work on some of this work that I intended on releasing. I had a bunch of songs, even just recording demos of songs, I'll tell you guys, would take practice. I would spend hours perfecting them. Now, why was I doing that? Why was it so hard to create? I think I had a lot of attachment to the things that I was creating, representing me as a musician and my worth in the world. Now, this is going to get a little philosophical, a little self-helpy, but I think I had too much of that. It's almost like I cared too much about the stuff I was creating. It was becoming too heavy and too important. And what I needed to do, I realized, was start making some music that I didn't feel so serious about. Because at the end of the day, if I want to get good at making music, I have to make more music. That's the skill I have to do. I'm not just going to wake up one day and all of a sudden be good at making music. I'm not just going to wake up and arrive at a place where my songs are just sort of good. And I think maybe I kind of hoped that would happen. And I think I got stuck in preparation mindset where I thought if I put a lot of work into the building blocks, then my stuff would inherently become better, which is I learned how to play hundreds of songs on guitar. I learned how to play bass. I played bass in a few bands. I took piano lessons. I took vocal lessons. I got new gear. I got in preparation mindset. I got stuck there. And I'll tell you what, the songs I was writing did become way better once I started learning a lot of this stuff. And honestly, I got even too caught up in learning the songs and like perfectly. And I made a couple YouTube covers like 10 years ago that I spent way too much time on. Again, being too attached to what this outcome would be and this weight and putting it on the internet and people would see it and judge me and all these things I got way too caught up in. And I don't know, over the pandemic, I really realized I needed to start creating and doing more and moving if I wanted to get better at it. So what I did was I told myself that every weekend for 3 hours, Saturday, 12 to 3, I was going to make a new piece of music. Or not even make a piece of music, but just work on music. And it didn't matter if it was good, didn't matter if it was bad. It didn't matter if I just learned how a soft synth worked, or I just made one chord progression at the end of 3 hours I thought was bad. I don't care. We're going to sit down and we're going to do it. We're going to work on music. We're going to work on the skill that all my creative interests, I think, is the most important to me, which is making cool music that I like. So I did that. And what was so interesting was when I forced myself to sit down and start trying, I got over that hump, and without fail, within 30 minutes or so, like I was in the zone and just moving and just going and intuitively trying things. And in that place, that creative place that we're all trying to get to, and the reason that we all probably do it, if you're like me in your 30s and you're still doing this, it's because you actually like doing the thing and being in that mindset. And I realized it was like, oh, the cheat code towards getting in that mindset and creating and having fun is to just sit down and do it. I thought you had to like get everything in your life feeling so perfectly and get all the, like it's like getting like a potion just right to make you feel inspired and happy and free to do it. But it's like, no, if you just sit down and do it and tell yourself this is how you're spending the next few hours, all of a sudden you get there. And I'll tell you what, without all the weight of what the outcome would be being put on it, the stuff I started making was better than a lot of the stuff that I was like spending hours perfecting. This is tough for me, but I think if you apply yourself with a sense of playfulness and joy, it's imbued in the work. And then you feel good about that work. You want to share it. And when other people hear it, they can feel that too. The mixtape I ended up making is called Explorations 001. The artist's name is Many Words. It's on my YouTube channel. And there's the second song on there. It's called 123 Wave. I wrote that on a Saturday, like a couple Aprils ago, and just made this acoustic guitar progression because I told myself I had to. Wrote the lead, and I don't know, the thing came together pretty effortlessly, and it feels effortless, and the vibe feels good. And it's like the piece of music now I've showed people that they respond to the most, more than the songs that I've spent tens of hours on and practiced to death and nailed the guitar tone when I tried all these different pedal combinations and different amps and all this shit. Like, it doesn't matter. And it's cool and it's crazy. It can be a little bit sad, but also empowering and energizing and inspiring that like, maybe that's how I need to be working on music. And finishing it was tough. I did have to get into more of that work and really mix it and again, push through other humps, but I did it and it came out, and now I have a piece of work out in the world, and I published it, and it's cool, and it feels free. It's out of my mind. It's out of my life. I'm able to move on. I'm going to make more of those things. I'm able to work on other creative projects. People are coming up to me and we're like, dude, let's jam. Let's work on music. I'm actualizing myself out in the world. And most importantly, I'm having fun creating again. And I feel unstuck because I think I'm not being so critical of myself and the work I'm making. And that sounds crazy because you want to make good stuff and being critical is a part of it and all that. But I don't know. I think letting go is there. And this has worked its way into my life in multiple facets, if I'm being honest with you, towards the end of this video, is that I think I have been too attached to what my outcomes are and they dictate how I see myself and how I feel about myself, if I'm being honest with you, internet. I think it's a part of capitalism. I think it's a part of social media. I think it's a part of just modern society. But what you give to the world, or can give, in a lot of ways determines our worth. What skills you have to provide, and what people you know and what people think of you determines what job opportunities we get, and how much money we make, and what our lives look like, and where we live. Social media, we feel like we have to say things that have value to other people, and you have to frame your story and the way you look and the way you talk towards being entertaining and giving value, and that's what's worth it. And I spend too much time in my day looking at that shit, and it's sort of what I feel like. And sorry, I got a text. And again, I'm more concerned about maintaining that relationship than my own. So anyway, I think as I've learned that I am apart from the things that I am in the world, and I create, that I am not my job performance, I am not my social media account, I am not my music, I am not my creative. Like, just because you make some music that you don't like doesn't mean that you're not a good musician, or doesn't mean that you're a bad creative or a bad person. Like, I think I would make a chord progression that I thought felt crazy or felt bad. Like, I was like, this doesn't feel like me, or that's not cool, or that's cheesy, or whatever. And I would start beating myself up. The internal critic would be like, dude, how many years have you spent playing guitar? And this is what it sounds like. And you can't even make something you like. You spend all day on a song and it sucks. Like, what? And that makes you not want to do it. It makes you not like the things you're doing, and it's just not helpful, and it's just not true. I think it's like any other craft. Is, in order to get good at it, you gotta do some bad shit. I think Adventure Time said it, and the first step to being kind of good at something is kind of sucking at something, and that's true. And I think there's a lot of other creatives. There's a lot of good books out there. Jeff Tweedy, How to Write One Song. Steve Martin, Born Standing Up, The War of Art. I read a bunch of these books, and they really talked about how you are not the things you create, that you are not, you're going to make some bad shit on the way to making some good shit, and it's all a part of it, and don't take it too seriously. Write it, finish it, but go, that's cool, and move on. And I think adopting this mindset has freed me and is allowing me to live the life as a creative that I want to live, and is allowing me to finish some of these bigger creative projects that I've been a bit stuck on. I think I'm going to make an actual album with words and songs. I'm going to try to finish it this year, and hopefully I'll release it, and you guys will hear it, and or at least a song or two, and make more of those many words things, and do some other creative shit with people, and move past this sort of stuck part in my life. And I don't know, I think it's going to be a process. I'm going to keep trying, but this mindset, I think, is really going to help get me there. I don't know. I hope this is helpful. I know this is a long video. If you liked it, we're probably friends, and put a comment down. Let's chat. I don't know. Yeah, I hope you guys have a good day and can spend even 5 minutes creating something, whether or not it's good, and you just have fun doing it. Cool. Thanks, guys. Bye.